He didn't remember what country he last visited last week. He didn't remember Top Gun Maverick. Okay, we've got a big problem. Anyway, so today, even Democrats on Capitol Hill, they're telling FoxNews.com that Biden's health, mental stamina, unmatched. Really? Do you believe that? Take a look.
As he says every day, watch me, and he puts many of us to shame with his energy.
He is, you know, as I age, I appreciate wisdom even more.
No, not at all. Not at all. We've had many leaders his age that have done extraordinary things for America, and there's no reason why he can't accomplish this just as much or more in his second term as he did in his first.
Can you ask for any more experience? Vice president, president, senator? Experience really counts, especially in the world today that is so dangerous. I think he's the right guy at the right time.
He seems to be doing fine, so I think he'll keep on keeping on.
And I think that he has proven he can deliver.
All right, does anyone believe Mr. Fang Fang? Because I don't. Look, clearly they are lying. There is no doubt that Biden has really bad memory problems. His cognitive decline, we pointed it out first. It is so clear and obvious and transparent. This guy has no business running for a second term, that is for sure. But not just because of his mental and physical decay. Joe Biden is not a good guy. He's a president. By the way, he is now hurting every single person in this country in every way imaginable. Now, just listen, as Joe was describing, his wonderful, loving relationship with all of his grandchildren, minus one, a 4-year-old little granddaughter that Joe Biden refuses to recognize or even acknowledge in any way, shape, manner, or form. Take a look.
I have 6 grandchildren, and I'm crazy about them. And I speak to them every single day. Not a joke.
Okay, Joe Biden has 7 grandchildren, not 6 grandchildren, and he doesn't speak to one of them at all. I'll use his words. It's not a joke. I'm serious. Hey, Joe, come on, man. It's a little child. It's your granddaughter. You can't acknowledge her? That is really pathetic. This 4-year-old little girl has done nothing wrong, and yet there is no love, no support, no invites to the White House, no Christmas presents, no birthday cards. You don't hang up a stocking at Christmas. Not from Joe, not from Jill, nobody. That is a disgrace. They should all be ashamed of themselves. And, of course, Hunter Biden has been ordered by a judge now to make child support payments following a paternity test. But now Hunter's attorneys have been working overtime to reduce or eliminate those payments. Now they're claiming that Hunter just doesn't have enough money from Russia, China, and Ukraine to support his own daughter, despite all of these overseas business dealings and his widely successful career as an amateur artist, paint by numbers. I call it portraits of a crack addict. That he sells to mysterious buyers for what, $500,000? But Hunter Biden, he just doesn't have any money to spare for his own kid. Now, of course, Pops, or the multi-millionaire lifelong public service Joe, well, he's not willing to lend a helping hand in any way. He doesn't care about his own 4-year-old granddaughter. Now, here's the big question of the day. Imagine if this granddaughter was Donald Trump's granddaughter. Do you think the media would ignore this? No, I don't think so either. He has the gall to pretend that he's this wonderful, loving family guy. It is one big lie. And let me say this again. Joe Biden has a chip missing if he thinks that this is in any way okay. That girl deserves love. Joe, man up and love your granddaughter. It's that simple. Anyway, that's news to Karine Jean-Pierre. Take a look at what she had to say about it.
Breaking news about the president. So his favorite ice cream is Grater's. How do you Grater's? I don't eat ice cream. Don't. Shh. I know. Chocolate chip, and he loves a good pair of sunglasses. He likes spaghetti, which is pretty cool. I love spaghetti too, like spaghetti with red sauce, and so that's one of his favorite meals.
All right, Joey likes ice cream, spaghetti, and every grandchild except for the 4-year-old, she's on her own. Now, of course, Joe also loves a good cheat sheet and a compliant media mob. Take a look at your screen. Now, this is a picture of a note card that Biden was holding yesterday at a press conference entitled Reporter Q&A with the subheadline, question number 1, followed by a reporter's name, her picture and where she works, the LA Times, and the card also detailed the exact question she wanted to ask. It was about semiconductor manufacturing, and right on cue, Biden called on the LA Times reporter for the first question, and guess what she asked about? Semiconductor manufacturing. But now the LA Times and the Biden White House, they're denying that there was any collusion at all whatsoever. Take a look.
The LA Times said that their reporter did not submit any questions in advance of yesterday's press conference. So to people who saw that pocket card, can you explain how that ended up there and why the president needed something like that?
Look, we do not have specific questions in advance. That's not something that we do. Our job is to get a sense of what you all want to ask him. That is our job here, to get a sense of what's the news of the day, the topics you all are interested to ask of him.
Okay, why lie? There is photographic evidence that Biden got the question in advance. As Senator Marco Rubio tweeted, quote, Biden has the media in his pocket, and it's really in his pocket. By the way, we knew this for years, right? Didn't we always know that they were an extension of the Biden press office, right? And anyway, so this is not journalism. This is teamwork. Biden and the mob are operating as one unit. Now, if this was the Trump White House, you know fake news CNN and MSNBC and, of course, ABC, CBS, the New York Times, they would have a total meltdown fit over all of this. Jim Acosta, probably, he'd be crying. Humpty Dumpty would be apoplectic. By the way, he's been MIA. Does anyone know where Humpty has gone lately? I have no idea. But because Biden is a Democrat, he gets a pass, just business as usual. And the so-called journalists wonder why Americans no longer trust the media. Can they really be this stupid? But one thing is clear. As 2024 now nears, the media's Biden protection program is back. It is more corrupt than ever before. And mark my words, this night, he will once again run a campaign from his basement and he will hide. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.